Hi everyone, Danny here, and welcome to Spenelli Speaks. As you can tell from the title and the thumbnail, I am a little bit behind and quite possibly failing miserably at my 40 before 40 challenge. If you're unfamiliar with the challenge I'm referring to, check out this video. I go through all of the challenges I set myself up for to obviously fail this year. And the one that I'm really prioritizing, because it does have quite an upcoming deadline, is my 40 books to read before I turn 40. Now, I turned 40 in July, and I really thought I was setting myself up for success with the amount of time, 7 months, to read 40 books. And granted, I have read over 40 books already this year. Do you think they're part of my 40 before 40? No. No, they are not. No, they are not. So let's talk about how badly I'm failing. And I know I'm being a little bit pessimistic, but I'm also kind of like upset with myself that I haven't been giving this project enough priority, because quite frankly, I have been reading, and yeah, April was I read one book in April. We had a lot of illnesses, we were traveling or just coming home from traveling, so a lot of different things, birthdays, Easter, funerals, all the things. If you want to know about that, check out this video. But anyways, I've read more than 40 books this year, so it's irritating to me that I didn't prioritize these books instead of, being distracted by all of the other books. And not that that's a bad thing. It is not a bad thing that I have read more than 40 books and they just don't happen to be these books. I am talking about my own personal goals that I wanted to read these books. So let's talk about the good stuff, okay? I have read some of these books. I have read 11 of these books. And to be completely honest, they have been some of the best books I have ever read. So that is the reason why I wanted to do this 40 before 40 challenge, because a lot of these books have been sitting on my shelves. I got them specifically because I knew they were going to be good books, or I heard that they were going to be good books, or they're known to be good books. And as I've been getting through some of them, they have proven that. So it's just frustrating to me as a reader and someone who challenges themselves in reading that I have not been able to get through more of these books. And now it almost feels like a homework assignment. And I didn't want it to ever feel like that. I wanted it to just feel easy and something that I could just, ease into and enjoy. And now I'm like scrambling to read 30 books in the next 2 months. And that's frustrating to me. So, anywho, let's talk about the books that I have read. Okay, so I'm missing one book from this pile, and I think it's because my son keeps going into my book room and messing with all of my books, so I must have just unknowingly moved the book somewhere else because it's very small. But the first of the books that I all read of the 11 is The Old Nurse's Story by Elizabeth Gaskell. So I did read that, and that one was quite small. That was a one-sitting short story essentially. But these are the rest of the books that I have read. So you may have seen, I did reviews on a couple of these, but so we have The Kite Runner, which was excellent. I think I gave it 5 stars. I Am the Messenger. I think I gave this one 4 stars. Very good. Mark Zuzak. He is the author of The Book Thief. Poisonwood Bible, which honestly, I started it first. It was one of the first ones I started because I was so worried that it was going to be hard to get through and that it was just going to be terrible. But quite honestly, I think I gave it 4 stars, maybe 3.5. I really did like it. If you are hesitant on reading that book, please move forward and put it on your TBR. I think it does an excellent job of just having so many different areas to think about as far as, going over to other countries and trying to force people into ideals that they don't necessarily need to be forced into. It talks a lot about, racism and colonialism and all the things of that time, and we still see this today. And I thought it was very well done. It goes through a lot of time, so you see the four girls kind of grow in their own directions. So I thought it was very well done. Um, of the other books, we have A Storied Life of A.J. Fikry. I think I gave that 5 stars. Very good. Peter Pan, didn't like it. I was like, wow. A lot of us are familiar with Disney Peter Pan, right? Okay, Tinkerbell, huge Disney icon. She is terrible. Tinkerbell is not cute. She is a naughty, naughty, naughty fairy. Like, mm-mm. We have Ethan Fromm. We have Watership Down. I loved Watership Down. I will definitely be rereading this book in the future. Little Women, which I was like, about. This is beloved by so many people. Like, I have heard so many people be like, oh, that I love that book. It's my childhood. I've read it so many times. I thought it was meh. I did not care for any of the characters. I did not. I was like, I don't. Nothing. I'm good. I'm not interested. It's not that great. So, anyways, George Orwell's 1984. Wow, this could have been written this year. Feels the same. And then The Time Machine by H.G. Wells, which I absolutely loved. I think I gave 5 stars. Will reread that, especially this version. I ended up listening to a lot of these books on audio to try to get through them, and I listened to this one on audio, but the version that I have is illustrated, so I will be rereading this so that I can look at all of the really fascinating illustrations. So I really liked that one. So that's the good news. The bad news is I have a lot left to go. So this pile that I'm going to show you next is a pile of books that I am in the middle of and that I'm hoping to get to next. So the 3 books that I'm currently in the middle of, or not in the middle of, but like either in the middle of or getting started in, is A Gentleman in Moscow, The Bone Setter's Daughter, and A Tale of Two Cities. I am 85% sure I am going to DNF A Tale of Two Cities. I'm about 40% in and I cannot stand this book. It's entirely way too convoluted. I am not following anything. I am not enjoying it. So I might go ahead and DNF this, or just not for now. I've got to move on to other books because this is taking up way too much brain space and I'm not enjoying it. So we'll see about that one. We also have A Gentleman in Moscow, which I'm absolutely loving. I'm about 60% done with this, so I will finish this in the next couple days. And then I've just started Bone Setter's Daughter, which Amy Tan is a favorite author of mine. I won't have any problem getting through this, so that probably will be done by the end of the week as well. So that'll be 2 by the end of the week, which is great. Then I have these books that I thought, just because of their size, that I should be able to get to them fairly quickly and get through them so I can knock them out of the list before I start on other books. And that is The Kitchen Boy, the novel of the last Tsar. And I thought this would be nice to knock out now, not only because it's a short one, but because I'm reading A Gentleman in Moscow, the location of the 2 books being Russia might be nice to pair. So I'm going to go with that one next. And then these 2 are going to be really easy to get through. They're, not very big. They've got, the small pages, the deckled edges, so the paper is thicker. So it'll be a lot faster to get through. So I'm going to get through those next. So here's my strategy moving forward for the next 2 months. I have to just make some cuts and move some stuff around and make a better priority kind of list. So I've decided to move these 2 to the very end, as in I will read these in July. That is Jane Austen's Northanger Abbey, and then 1776. And the reason why I'm going to move these 2 to July is, 1, Jane Austen July, so I'll feel like in the mood at that point. And then because it's Independence Day, I don't know any other reason why, but I'm just like, I'll go ahead and just move these two so I can get them out of my brain and be like, I'm already know I'm going to go hold these until July. And then that way, those may be my last two books that I read for the challenge. As you recall, if you watched the challenge video, I had some rereads on the list, and that was Mouse, which is excellent. If you enjoy graphic novels and you haven't read these already, they are amazing. The art is fantastic. It's all black and white, but it's about the Holocaust, basically. So World War II and the Holocaust. The mice are the Jews, and then the cats are the Nazis. So I read this in college and I loved it. I actually went to a special art exhibit for Art Spiegelman, who is the author, and fantastic. So I highly recommend that. But it is a reread for me, as is these other 4 books. So Tuesdays with Morrie, The Alchemist, and Gift of the Sea. These rereads, these are going to be like, if I'm not doing anything else and I don't want to, I don't have time to spare to read my 40, I may do these, but I'm not going to hold myself to reread these books because I have all these other books that I haven't yet read before I read these. So I'm just going to put these to the side because I need to focus on these other books that I have not yet read. So where does that leave us? It leaves us with this big pile of books, and the biggest book of the entire pile, which I have been trying to read for ages. Ugh. So what I have done is kind of prioritize what I want to read next, or what I'm willing to sacrifice. So it's basically, would really like to read, but I don't really care if I miss it list. So the first on that is the Screwtape letters. I did already read the preface of this because I was just randomly in my book room and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna read the preface, and I was giggling the whole time. I love the way that C.S. Lewis writes. I just love his humor. I love the way that he is snarky about his beliefs and the beliefs of others. So I would really like to get to that in the very near future. So that's going to be on top of that pile. We also have In the Garden of Beasts by Eric Larson. I really want to get to this. I love his writing. I have read his... I can't remember what it's called, but The White Devil, or The Devil in the White City. That was excellent. So I do want to get to that. And I'm in this like really weird time era, like early 1900s kick right now. So this obviously has some Nazi symbols on it. So it's probably during the World War II time frame. So I would like to get to that. I have been trying to read Redwall forever, so I really want to get to that. I have been wanting to read this for a very long time, and I think it's important to read stuff like this. So I need to stop, wasting time and get to that. So I want to get to that in the near future. And Dubliners, James Joyce, love this author. I think that this will be a nice one to listen to. So I do have it available to me on audio. So I do want to get to that very soon. Then, of course, like I said, Mists of Avalon, I really do need to get to. And as we keep going, so Queen's Fool by Philippa Gregory. I do love her writing. I have read a couple of these already, so I want to get into that. I think that's considered like the first one of the series. I read the other Boleyn Girl, so that's out of sequence, but I do want to get that started. Neverending Story. I read the first chapter and was like, not even the first chapter. I read it's like the preface. It's like the story within the story. It needs to get read. Michael Crichton, Can't Go Wrong. Timeline. Want to get to that next. Voyages of Dr. Dolittle. I would like to get this, but I'm not really concerned. This is where we're starting to get into books where I'm like, if I miss it, I miss it. Catcher in the Rye, Lord of the Flies, Cannery Row, In the Lake to the Woods, Tim O'Brien, love that author. Dr. Faustus, The 13th Tale, and honestly, I think I'm just gonna like end up just saying no to this book because I have tried to read it before, if you can see, and I'm telling you right now, this book is gonna be the death of me. I'm like, no pun intended. It's so hard to read. I mean, this is ridiculous. And yes, I know I have the mass market, like my own fault, but like, I don't know. Her writing is so it's like I can't even. So, as you can tell, I'm a little bit frustrated. I'm a little bit sad. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that you set yourself up for these goals and then like life happens. So there's nothing wrong with that, but like I was so eager and so optimistic and so excited and like picking out all these books, and then it just all went downhill like really quick. So I honestly don't think I'm going to be able to read all of these books. But we'll see how far I get, and I will keep you informed, and I will let you know where I do end up. So wish me luck. If there's any books that you're like, whoa, just trash it. Like, don't even read that one. Don't waste your time. Move on to another one. Please let me know in the comments so that I can do that. And yeah, I'll keep you updated. And hopefully I will have better news than today, but I feel like a complete failure. Like, yeah. So anywho, I hope you are reading something fantastic. I hope you are not taking your reading as seriously as I am. Hope you're taking care, staying safe. And as always, you know how it goes. Happy reading. Bye.